Just touched on there, obviously the Sunderland job's come up lately. That's something you'd be interested in?
Well, I think I have said that over the last few days that I'd like to get back into managing a football club, and Sunderland at the moment. I think we're both bound to be linked at the moment. There's no official contact, but I know what a great club it is. I've worked there twice before, once as a player, once as a coach with Peter Reid, so I know what it needs. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Obviously, you say it's been nearly a year now. Are you surprised how long it's been? And
I'm not surprised how long it's been. I mean, there has been one or two positions I've talked about, but I haven't felt it right in terms of it was right for me to go either that particular time or for whatever reason, which obviously stays confidential. But I really feel I'm ready now. So I really feel that having done 16 years almost on the trot in management terms, that I needed the break, and the break had to be long enough for me to get ready to go back in all guns blazing.
Just obviously you mentioned 16 years in management. A lot of them were at Bolton. What have you made of them this season?
Well, I think like everybody else, you just have to ride out the pressure that comes on you with a few bad results, and the only way you get that pressure off yourself is by winning football matches. So the swings and turns around that happen in the Premier League now, particularly, are a massive part of everyday life as a manager and a player now. I obviously don't think it is right, but I'm bound to say that because I'm a manager. But you need time in every particular job that you do, and at the end of the day, it looks like the only way you can get that time is to continue to get results and not have too long a spell without a good run, because the pressure seems to be put on from all angles outside that particular club more than from within inside it. So Gary's lived with those pressures the players have, and they've turned it round recently, and I think that now they're in a good mid-table position, and they will try and build from there, as every manager would say, as long as he can keep his best players fit. Once the best players don't become available to you, whether you're Manchester United, Bolton or West Bromwich Albion, life in the Premier League becomes very difficult to get results.
Obviously last season, after your departure, it was a difficult season for Wanderers, but prior to that you had a lot of success, 4 top 8 finishes. Bolton obviously now climbed back into the top half for the first time. Have you been impressed with what Gary's done at the Reebok? Because, like I say, it was a difficult time, wasn't it, in the aftermath of Sam Allardyce?
Well, it appeared to be. I don't quite know why, but but because there was a hugely successful operation that I built there, and that's no longer the case. That's completely changed from every aspect now, and of course, rebuilding takes time, and the rebuilding has happened on the field and off the field. So if that rebuilding is as good as what I did, then they might get back to where I did. If it's not, then they probably won't. But life's a difficult place to be in for a Bolton Wanderers, based on the size of people's transfer fees today. But they've had a go. They've spent a few bob, and at the moment they're reaping the rewards from that at the minute.
And just finally, really, again, obviously when Sammy Lee, that's where a lot of the changes were made initially. And you've sort of said it takes time to change things around. Gary's obviously had to stabilise the club, but do you now think they're heading back in the right direction and back to where they used to be?
It appears so. Like I said, I mean the ever-growing problem that every manager has is persuading its board to invest more and more money, because if you're going to sustain success, then the only way you can do that is by buying the players that are needed to be better than the ones that you've already got. And if you can't compete on that level, then ultimately you will fail eventually, and it won't be really perhaps your fault as much as a manager, by the fact that it's everybody's concern, because if you don't get players that are good enough to compete in the Premier League, and there's fewer of them available in the world now, then life is going to be very, very difficult to sustain any sort of success there. The other avenue, which has been disappointing, is we've not, or not say we, because it's not me, it's that the club hasn't really developed its own enough.
Yeah.
And that was always a big thing for me, but unfortunately that materialised in the 7-8 years that I was there, and that should have been one of the main streams that they focused on, but unfortunately didn't.
Why do you think that is, the academy? Obviously, in your time there was Nolan, wasn't there? Brian, Nicky Hunt.
And Andy Olden, Dean Olden. Everybody forgets Dean Olden. Dean Olden was a massive player for me when I first got there. We sold Coxey to Watford, and Dean Olden stepped in, and he only had a very lucrative career stopped by a very bad injury against Sheffield United to the broken leg. So, you know, and you know, recently, unfortunately, Joey O'Brien, because of injury yet again, has had a step backwards. He was a very good player, and Ricardo Vaste. So there were some that were coming through, but at the end of the day, it's more and more investment again, and of course you have to balance the books at every club, as it were. So it didn't quite get as much as it deserved, really.